Hello, and welcome to The Art of Being Selfish. I am Dr. Sims, a licensed psychologist, and on this channel, I discuss ways that you can take care of yourself or be selfish so that you feel nourished and filled enough to take care of others. Now, while we will be discussing topics related to mental health on this channel, this is not a substitute for therapy. So, in today's session, we will be discussing being selfish professionally, and we have a very special guest to close out our Mother's Day series, The Journey to Motherhood, Fertility, Faith, Parenting, and Pregnancy. She is going to be talking about how she came to the decision to get pregnant at this point in her career. She's going to talk about her support systems and tips and advice for people who are making those decisions, as well as her experiences in the workplace. I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with Sade. So let's get into it. So Sade, thank you so much for joining us on The Art of Being Selfish. We're so happy to have you here and have this conversation with you. So we are ending our series on the journey to motherhood, and today we're going to be talking about pregnancy and what are some of the decisions that come along with making that decision to get pregnant. We've already talked about fertility issues. We talked about faith during fertility issues, and last week we had a mama talking about being a selfish mama. So in August, definitely come back and check that one out.
Okay.
But for us today, we want to talk about being pregnant in the professional area and how we're selfish in that area. Okay. So tell our viewers just a little bit about you, your educational background, kind of where you are in your life right now.
All right, sure. So to start, I'm married. July will make 4 years. Married to an amazing husband. And we are expecting our first little one, baby girl. Educational wise, I got my undergrad at Georgia Tech, business management, and got my master's at Kennesaw State University. And then career wise, let's see, so first job out of college, software sales in North Carolina. Then I moved back to Atlanta and took a job in the aeronautics industry. And then took another role in Atlanta in the energy industry. So that's where I currently am now. And so my day job, I guess, is focusing on creating proposals, mainly wrapped around solar sites and also remarketing natural gas assets. So that's kind of what I do during the day. And then in the afternoon and on the weekends, I'm a real estate agent. So I am showing houses and helping buyers and sellers with their real estate needs. And then my jobs that are not so much financial jobs. One, being a wife, which you're aware of.
Yes, full time.
Yes, my husband likes to be attended to. And then just making time for my family and friends, community service type events and things of that sort. So a pretty busy schedule.
Yeah, and don't forget your workout schedule.
And my workout schedule.
Also a full-time job.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think that's very important.
Yeah. We know. We know. So with all of that being said, let's jump right into this. Typically women, especially black women, are encouraged, like, they're not necessarily encouraged, but there's this tension between, like, are you going to start a career or are you going to start a family? And it's moving into this trend of, like, being unheard of to even start a family at the height of your career and under 30, right? So you are an anomaly. Because I feel like that is just not something that we're used to hearing about. So tell us a little bit about your decision to get pregnant right now at the height and success of your career and being under 30.
Yeah, so it's been a process, you know. The mental state that I'm in today was not where I was, say maybe 8-9 months ago. I just remember being so caught up on, like, when I first got in corporate America, I made my professional development plan. I had my mentors, and this is where my goals and my dreams were. And for me, 30 was that magic number. It's like, at that number, we can start talking about a child. That's not even let's try. That's like, let's just have the discussions. But also, when I was making these plans and stuff for my career, I didn't have the situation and circumstances that I have today. I wasn't married to a very supportive man and financially stable and all those things. And so that's somewhat shaped where I am. And then I just think having some selfish type moments, like that you like to talk about, meditating with yourself and trying to find out, like, what is really important. I found myself constantly putting goals in front of myself to keep myself from doing things family-wise. And I was like, I don't know if that's been selfish in the negative sense. Now that I do have a family, instead of kind of making sure the goals that I'm setting for myself also benefit my family. So I remember just, for example, I would, we would have a conversation would come up about having children with me and my husband, and I'd be like, I want to get my master's degree. That's so important to me, and it's important to my career, and that's going to help me elevate and distinguish me a little bit from some of my peers. And then the whole time, he's just so supportive. I'm coming home from work, and I'm in the office studying. He's cooking dinners now and cleaning, doing all the things that I would be doing if I wasn't busy studying. I graduate, and I get my degree, and then the conversation comes again. And I'm like, there's this new opportunity where I can shift to a different industry, and if I can just get my feet wet in the energy industry and learn some things and kind of be a quick learner, make an instant impact, that would be good for my career. Again, very supportive of that. He even helped with us moving to a different home because location-wise, it was easier to drive into work. I get the job. I get a nice little promotion in the first 6 months. I'm like, I'm killing it, feeling confident. Conversation comes up again. Like, so, what do you think about kids? And then I'm like, you know what? I think I really enjoy real estate. Like, selling that house was fun, right? And so I'm like, I'm going to go back to school for just a little bit, get my license, get my feet wet a little bit in real estate. And then I do that, sell a couple of homes, conversation comes up again. At that point, I'm like, I really want to consider a law degree. And I still kind of have that on my mind. But then my family at this point is even like, look, you just keep putting something in front of having a child. And then at the time, I didn't really realize that. I just always have been so focused on trying to make myself more competitive and to climb the ladder. I want to be like the youngest at the top in corporate America for whatever reason. But then when it boiled down to reflecting on why and did it really matter to me as much as starting a family, it didn't so much. And so I would say, my husband did have a high influence on that. But I just had to realize like what was really important, and then also realizing I'm never gonna feel like I'm there enough to have a child. I'm just gonna keep building something up. And so changing my mentality on focusing on how to make it work instead of like I'm not gonna have time to do it or I won't be able to.
So it's really about like changing the way that you thought about having a child. So it's not that the child takes away from all these other things that you're doing, but maybe there's a way that you can kind of balance them and do both.
Exactly.
Okay. So I know you very well, and I know that you're a busybody. All that stuff you listed earlier shows all of that, right? And you were just talking about kind of how you kept putting these goals in front of you and kind of changing, pushing out the goal of having a baby or the plans to have a baby. So when you think about what your schedule may be like after you have a baby, do you anticipate it shifting or changing, or what do you think it will look like for you?
Yeah, I do think shifting, but back to the mentality thing again, I had to change how I viewed about the shifting because I used to always feel like that's a negative thing, that I'm going to have to change my schedule. On top of all these things I currently do, I'm going to throw a baby on top of that, and I don't want to be this neglecting type parent, type thing. So I really had to focus on how can I make it work instead of the fact that it won't work, and just changing that mentality that way has kind of helped me like look into some things differently. And then also, I know you can never be prepared to be a mom at all, and I'm very much a planner to the extent that I can plan and prepare. In certain areas I have, and so we were very blessed to be able to move my mom closer to us, and just having her 8 minutes down the street, daycare is not cheap, and just putting a support system around us that help us even further. It's going to help a lot with scheduling and things of that sort. I still do believe there's going to be a lot of sacrifices. I came to the point, though, where it's like, those sacrifices are worth it to me. And, like, most of the things in my life that have required sacrifices have been the things that are most beneficial and most rewarding. And so I'm looking forward to it. But I do know the schedule will shift. The priorities will definitely change. And it's just something that I now welcome. When at first I was like, I am not about to change my schedule up because in corporate America I need this flexibility. If I need to work late, I need to work late. And then also just having an amazing husband that it's like I don't have to do this on my own. It's like it take pressure off me, where I feel like scheduling wise I can definitely make it work because I have the help and support.
Oh, you're such a mom. Oh my gosh. So speaking of your amazing husband, tell us just a little bit more about like how do you envision him being supportive in that role? Like again, we're thinking about stereotypes, we're thinking about like the mom being the primary caregiver for the kid. But how do you think that your husband will like contribute and support you in that role?
Yeah, so my husband is like, this is recorded, so it's terrible. He's like over the top. And he's so compassionate and emotional, and like just those qualities, like I don't take for granted at all. And I'm learning so much from that, like the emotional parts and the being able to balance parts. Like he's preparing me to be a better mom, in my opinion. And so even now, I'm like, Jahi, stop buying stuff for the baby. Like let's just wait. In the mornings when we wake up, we gotta have tummy time before we go to work. And just taking that moment to spend that time, it's like I'm already adjusting my schedule a little bit. So it's kind of getting me used to certain things. But I know he's gonna be great just because of the type of person he is. And so his support system is everything.
That's awesome. And he's getting you to slow down already.
He
So
is
that
getting
makes
me
me
to slow
happy.
down. I guess so.
Yes. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about work. I would assume that at work you maybe have experienced maybe just a couple of comments about being pregnant, or there may just be some reactions to you being pregnant, especially when you were talking about like getting a promotion in 6 months. I wonder if they're looking at you a little differently when you're pregnant. So tell me, have you experienced any different reactions at work? Anything that maybe you've noticed you've been passed over for because you're pregnant, or anything like that happening at work?
Yeah, so I would say the dynamics have changed a little bit. I am one of 3 women on the team, and so basically our team is full of men. The energy industry in general is full of men. And so, like, I don't feel looked at differently. I mean, naturally I'm looked at differently because I'm growing a belly. But you can just tell, like, some of the men on my team, they want to make sure that they are supporting and comforting in that sense. However, I don't want to feel like I'm not, like, showing that my drive is still there. I don't want certain projects to not be given to me because in a few months I may be out, or taking a couple of weeks off for the baby and things of that sort. So I will say I've been blessed to be on a team of guys who are very understanding and open, helpful. And so I don't feel like that's happened to me. But one of the key things I think is communicating that. And I can't knock if a guy felt a certain way, because I used to feel that way about pregnant people, and I used to feel that way if I got pregnant myself. Like, I'm not going to be as productive. I got to go to all these doctor's appointments and things of that sort. So it's been a blessing to have a director that I have open communication with, like, this is my schedule, these are some certain appointments I have to take, but I'm still very eager and hungry and want to be aggressive and win as much business for the company as I can. Nothing's changed just because I now have a belly. And they've been very supportive in that sense. So yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, we joke around the office now. I think I get more comments in the gym at work than anything. Like, why are you here? You should not be working out. Then I'm like, listen, you're supposed to actually, stay fit. And so, but I think it's just, some people are naive to certain things, and just being open to communicate about them and not really taking them to heart, then that helps. And even with some of my coworkers, it's like if they say certain things, it's coming from a good place. Like, they're trying to be sweet and compassionate and concerned about certain things, but yeah, not anything that's just been like red flag. So yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah.
And you talked about communication being like a part of the thing that you do to manage some of that happening. Are there other things that you do to like combat kind of experiencing any of that in the workplace?
I think it's just staying consistent with who I am. If you don't want people to start treating you different because you're pregnant, don't start acting different. Don't come in to work late and, if you're going through certain things and you're dealing with sickness, and absolutely understandable. But I just feel like I would never be the type to use pregnancy as an excuse or a handicap. Like, it's not stopping me. It's not changing my brain. And so I want to keep performing at the same levels so that I keep being treated the same way. So
I like that consistency, communication and consistency.
Yes.
I like that. So, as as you mentioned, you are having a baby girl, and I know that it's a little too early to be thinking about like role modeling and what she's going to be thinking of you, but I imagine that this pattern is going to be consistent for you. So what do you think that your daughter is going to learn from you when she sees you like working and having this life-work balance and also raising a family?
I think you actually said it. So key thing for me would be balance. Like if my daughter sees that in me and feels that, then I would feel accomplished. I think she may actually get it from her dad a little more. But as long as she says mom does that too, like mom can be competitive and aggressive in the workplace, but she's also never neglecting family, and she has that same similar drive, that would make me very proud. And then I would say one other thing is mental toughness. And I feel like in anything in life, if you have a strong mentality about certain things and how you deal with situations and how you react to stuff, or how you adjust, that'll set you apart from so many people in different ways and make you much more successful. So mental toughness and balance. If my child grows up and be like, oh, I got that from my mom, I'll be like, oh, thanks God. Mission accomplished.
Awesome. So, with that being said, tell us a little bit about, do you have any tips or advice for women who are maybe struggling with making a decision around starting a family and having their career, or maybe in the same position you are where they're pregnant and they're still trying to figure out like how they're going to navigate balancing their life? Like, what are some tips or advice that you have for those women?
Yeah, so some of the things that I did was reaching out to a female that was in an executive leadership position in my job, and just sitting down and have a conversation with her to say, now you have 3 kids and you are pretty much at the top of a multi-billion-dollar company. How did you manage it? And it's amazing. Like even LinkedIn is an amazing tool if you don't have a female that's in your company that you feel comfortable reaching out to like that. But it's amazing how many women at that level would love to talk to you about that kind of topic, because it's not an everyday type topic. You're not reaching out asking for anything or like a job or anything like that. You're literally just saying, can I have 15 to 20 minutes of your time, because I am at a certain level in my career and I'm thinking about having children, and I just want to know how you made it be so successful. So that's one thing I did. And then again, to the extent that you can plan and prepare, that is very helpful. It won't stop surprises from popping up, of course, but it will make you feel a little more comfortable about your situation. For us, having my mom there as a child care, financially, just looking at how much we're able to save a year, that's a blessing. And then just that comfortness of knowing your child is with somebody who you feel comfortable with. My mom is like, she's ready. She is ready to babysit. She told me the other day, like, when you go back to work, if you need me to bring the child down there to nurse, I'll come at your lunchtime. And I'm like, those are things that had we not planned for in advance, small things, but can mean a lot, you know. So I would say definitely planning and preparing and reaching out.
Yeah. Those are really good things. I don't even think, the planning and preparing part, yes, but the reaching out to people who maybe are in the same position or a position that you want to get to, so really great tip.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sade. This was such a great conversation. I just feel like I'm way more enlightened about maybe balancing life and family and all that good stuff. And so I really appreciate you coming and sharing your wisdom with us.
And thank you to you too. I think it is a beautiful thing how you're letting God use you and use your talents and skills. And now you have this YouTube show where, you know, like you said in the beginning, it's not about replacing therapy, but you have so many people that don't go out and get therapy for whatever reasons they feel, and just having a place where they can come listen to some very interesting topics, because I've watched all your other videos. And I mean, it's really good reaching to people, even if you change one person's life or a thought path about something. That's great. So thanks for having me. Glad to be a part.
Thank you. So that's it. Being selfish professionally. We are so grateful to Sade for coming on and sharing her experience, sharing her testimony, and what that process has been like for her. It was actually very insightful to hear kind of what brought her to those decisions and what were the things that she was doing in her life prior to getting pregnant. And I think that some of the things that she mentioned, particularly around like prioritizing, knowing what your priorities are in life and being able to make decisions based on those priorities. I think was just such sound advice. Having those support systems in place and doing the things that you need to do to meet the goals that you are looking to achieve, whether that's continuing and advancing in your career or starting a family or somewhere in between that, making sure that you know your priorities and know the things you need to do to get there. I am so thankful for these 4 women coming on this show and sharing their stories with you all. And like I said, I wanted to bring you all normal, everyday women that I come in contact with on a regular basis. I love all of them and they mean so much to me. So it was important for me to share a little bit of my blessings with you all, and hopefully you all learned a little something and were able to take a little something away from their testimonies. It really meant a lot for me to do this series because I personally have experienced each of these women's stories in some way, shape, or form. And so just being able to put all of this together and just talk about what this journey looks like for women was just really exciting for me. So thank you all for coming on this journey with me. My entire purpose for doing this series is just to remind women, mothers to be, that it's okay to be selfish and be a mother. It's okay to take care of yourself. As you're going through this journey and you're making decisions around this, it's okay to prioritize yourself and do the things that you need to do to make sure that you're also taken care of. I would imagine that when a child comes into this world, or as you're preparing for a child to come into this world, that child can start to consume a lot of your time and consume a lot of your energy and just everything, your money, all that great stuff. But I think it's important to recognize that you still have to take time to take care of yourself. You still have to be doing things that are important to you, whether you're trying to conceive and having a hard time with doing that, or you are full on into parenting and being a mom and everywhere in between. It's important for you to pick out those things that are selfish, those things that are taking care of you, those things that are practicing self-care, to make sure that you are energized. You want to be fully present and fully available for your little one. And so just make sure that you can be selfish as you're going through whatever phase of this journey you might be in. So we are done with the series for a little bit. We are back to regularly scheduled programming with just me next week. So I will see you all next Selfish Saturday. Make sure you're doing something to take care of yourself today. Bye.